What if I told you clothes were never really about modesty? Not at first, not even close. The real reason humans started covering their bodies is stranger, darker, and far more practical than anything you were taught in school. Long before fashion brands, royal robes, or religious traditions, there was only one question that mattered. How do you survive one more night? Every shirt, every jacket, every pair of shoes you own is part of a story that began thousands of generations ago, when our ancestors faced an environment their bodies were never designed to survive. And once you understand why humans truly started wearing clothes, you'll never look at your wardrobe the same way again. For nearly 200,000 years, humans walked this planet completely naked. No shame, no uniforms, no fashion, no idea that exposing your body was unusual. Like every other animal, our skin met the world directly. The sun burned it, the rain soaked it, the wind cooled it, and life continued. For our ancestors, nudity wasn't a statement, it was simply reality. So what changed? Why did a species that had survived for thousands of generations without clothing suddenly decide to wrap itself in animal hides and woven fibers? Many people assume the answer is religion. Others think it was modesty. But those ideas came much later. The first clothes weren't invented to impress anyone. They were invented because nature gave humans a problem they couldn't solve with evolution alone. Around 170,000 years ago, Earth entered one of its coldest periods. Massive glaciers spread across huge parts of the northern hemisphere. Temperatures dropped. Food became harder to find. Entire landscapes transformed. Some groups of humans had already begun leaving Africa, following animals into unfamiliar lands. But there was one problem. Their bodies still belonged to a warm climate. Unlike bears, wolves, or mammoths, humans had very little natural insulation. Without protection, freezing winds could become deadly within hours. So they adapted, not by evolving thicker fur, but by creating something evolution never had: technology. The first technology humans wore. Scientists discovered an unexpected clue hidden in one of the least glamorous creatures imaginable: lice. Head lice live in hair. Body lice live inside clothing. Genetic studies show that body lice split from head lice around this exact period. That means clothing had already become common enough for an entirely new species of parasite to evolve alongside it. Ironically, one of humanity's greatest inventions left behind its first evidence in tiny insects. But this raises an even bigger question. If clothing solved the cold problem, why did humans lose their fur in the first place? Most mammals keep thick coats because they're useful. Humans did the opposite. The leading explanation is surprisingly elegant. Our ancestors became persistence hunters. Instead of chasing prey with speed, they chased it with endurance. For hours, across open African plains, animals covered in fur eventually overheated. Humans didn't. Because we sweat a lot. Sweat evaporates from bare skin and cools the body with incredible efficiency. But thick fur traps heat. Over thousands of generations, less body hair became an advantage. We traded insulation for endurance. It was one of the most successful evolutionary exchanges ever made. Humans became the best long-distance runners on Earth. But every advantage comes with a price. When our ancestors eventually walked into colder regions, they discovered something evolution hadn't prepared them for. They had engineered themselves out of their own winter coat. Clothing became an artificial layer of evolution, a removable fur coat, one we could improve whenever nature changed. Once early humans solved the problem of staying warm, something unexpected happened. Clothing stopped being just protection. It became possibility. Archaeologists have discovered bone needles more than 40,000 years old. These weren't simple tools. They represented planning, precision, creativity. People weren't merely throwing animal skins over their shoulders anymore. They were cutting them, sewing them, shaping garments to fit different bodies and different climates. Better clothing meant better survival. But eventually, it meant something else. Choice. One person wore decorated furs, another preferred feathers, someone added shells, someone else dyed fabric with plants and minerals. For the first time, clothing began communicating information before a single word was spoken. It revealed where you came from, who you belonged to, what skills you possessed, perhaps even what you believed. Without realizing it, humanity had invented one of history's first visual languages. Think about your own wardrobe. Why did you choose the clothes you're wearing today? Comfort, status, confidence, identity. Most of us believe those choices are entirely personal. But beneath every modern fashion trend lies an ancient instinct that has never disappeared. The instinct to adapt, to belong, to survive. The expensive coat hanging in your closet exists because, thousands of generations ago, someone desperately needed protection from freezing winds. The shoes on your feet trace their history back to rough landscapes that tore human skin apart. Even the idea of dressing differently for different occasions echoes a survival strategy that slowly evolved into culture. Necessity became tradition. Tradition became identity. Identity became fashion. This is what makes human history so extraordinary. Our greatest inventions rarely begin as luxury. They begin as desperation. Fire wasn't entertainment. It was survival. Homes weren't symbols of wealth. They were protection. And clothing wasn't originally about beauty. It was about making tomorrow possible. Yet, over thousands of years, those same survival tools transformed into expressions of personality, creativity, and culture. Every morning, when you choose what to wear, you're participating in a ritual that began with a freezing human standing beneath an unfamiliar sky, trying to make it through another winter. Your wardrobe is more than fabric. It's a living fossil. A reminder that civilization is built from countless small solutions to ancient problems. And perhaps that's the strangest truth of all. The things we now call fashion once meant the difference between life and death. Call to action, 555. If this made you see something as ordinary as clothing in a completely different way, imagine how many other everyday habits hide equally incredible origins. Subscribe, because next time, we're uncovering another ordinary part of human life with an extraordinary story behind it. And before you go, answer this. What do you think humans will be wearing 200 years from now? Will clothes still protect us? Or will they become something entirely different? Let me know in the comments.